Well, the Labour MP Rupa Huck has teamed up with the Conservative MP David Davis to appeal to the Health Secretary to commission urgent research into the benefits of vitamin D in the fight against coronavirus. And Rupa Huck joins me now. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. I'm a little bit puzzled by this because covering the COVID outbreak, I had experts talking to me about the possibility of vitamin D being a key factor in this outbreak. I went to see my GP the other day about another matter, and he, in conversation, mentioned vitamin D. Why haven't we heard more about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, the more you look into it, there are studies as long as your arm from eminent scientists. And I've mentioned this a couple of times in the chamber. Every time I do, I'm deluged with medics emailing in saying that the health secretary's wrong. He said that there was no association between COVID-19 and vitamin D. So David Davis and I went to see him yesterday, and in one of those sit-down meetings, you can rationalise a bit more than across the chamber where it's these snippy exchanges and you never get a right of reply. And I'm quite positive that he's looking into this now, and just as long as we're not too late, because vitamin D is a weird one. It's not like a normal nutrient. It's not in food very much. We know vitamin C is in your citrus fruits and stuff. Vitamin D is only pretty much in oily fish, and you have to eat a lot of it. It would be 10 portions of salmon a day, I think, to get your required amount. And it's in egg yolks, but it comes in UV rays as they hit the skin. So, I mean, look, it's pretty murky outside now. We were meeting with Hancock when it was 6 o'clock. It was pitch black. I hope that we're not too late. Why has it not been recommended up to now? Maybe it's because it's sort of always been under our nose, unlike some of these other moonshot things that we're promised, dextromethadone, some of these other new drugs. It's always been known for its properties on bones, so osteoporosis, that kind of thing. But I mean, any vitamin really is good for immunity. And up to now, the health department has been saying that it's not proven enough. But the thing is, I mean, what have we got to lose? Really, we've got the worst death toll in Europe. It's not bad for you. So just putting it in government messaging to take your supplements, which I think you are now. Are you, Adam? Do you feel a younger man?
I'm talking to you about it. I mean, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. But it's also been suggested that vitamin D deficiency might explain why the BAME community has been hit harder by this. Do you think there's anything in that?
Yeah, you're right. In fact, we first heard of it, didn't we, this year when that PHE report came out, and it showed disproportionate numbers of deaths amongst the BME communities. And one of the arguments given was that they're in frontline occupations, driving buses and Ubers, warehousing, medicine. But then if you look at the doctors, remember the faces of the original doctors who were dying, they all sort of seem to have the same pigmentation. And it's a weird thing that the way it works with UV rays hitting the skin, if you've got darker skin, you need more of it, sort of thing. So the people that are most deficient in it are the elderly, the obese, and the BME. But to be honest, everyone in this country, because it's a seasonal thing as well, and it's a thing, how near are you to the equator? It's a latitudinal thing. But in this country, sort of depends on what time of year, but most people, I think they say 60% of people anyway are deficient, but BME people even more so. So yeah, there is something in that. But, you know, in countries where they have high levels of it, like New Zealand and the Nordic countries, they've had a very low number of deaths. And it is something that can be supplemented in food. So I think in Sweden, they have it in their milk. It's added to dairy.
So what would you like, you and David Davis, you know, from the other side of the house, what would you like the government to say about vitamin D and COVID?
Look, I'm sort of, as I say, optimistic. After our meeting, we had a good old sit-down chat with him. David Davis has read, in fact, he's been on this stuff for decades, apparently. So that's why he's such a picture of glowing health and fitness. But Matt Hancock said he would go away and look at it. I think it should be in the messaging. So at the moment, we have these things like hands, face, space. And the new Brexit one is check, change, go. They're just getting weirder and weirder to fathom what practically can you do. Whereas if you did say, take a vitamin D tablet, D3, I think it is, because there's different ones, every day. And it's very cheap. You can get it for sort of between £1 and £2 from any high street pharmacy chain or your local pharmacy. So if you just said that as an extra thing, it's not a vaccine. It's not a smoking gun or a silver bullet, but it's an extra thing as a preventative measure to stop people getting it and to ward off the worst effects. So I think they should put it in the messaging. And then, you know, if they're persuadable, apparently it wouldn't cost very much if the very at-risk groups were prescribed it for free.
OK, Rupa Huq, thank you
David
very
Davis.
much indeed. Afraid that's all we have time for on All Out Politics for today.